Welcome to the D-Lo Show, and I'm your host, Ryan D-Lo Delosier. I got another episode for you today. This one's called The Red SUV Who Killed Michael Frazier. Michael Frazier was known as a quiet, caring man who loved fishing at Priest Rapids Dam and spending time with his brothers. He wasn't a gang member, and he wasn't looking for trouble. But at 2 a.m. on a September morning in 2018, trouble found him. And that trouble was in the form of a red SUV on West Chestnut Avenue right in Yakima. Today, on the D-Lo Show, we look at a case that shocked the Yakima community. A murder with no clear motive, no known ties to crime, and a shooter who is still out there. Once again, welcome back to the D-Lo Show. In the world of true crime, we often look for patterns. We look for gang affiliations, drug debts, or personal vendettas. We look for a reason why someone was targeted. But what happens when there's no reason? What happens when a man is gunned down just steps away from a hospital emergency room, and even the police have to admit they have no idea why? Today, we're talking about the life and the unsolved murder of Michael D. Frazier. Michael was a Yakima local through and through. Born here in 1965, he was the second of four brothers. He grew up on a farm in Moxie while his father served in the military. He was a Davis High School graduate who loved the simple things: camping, celebrations with friends, and fishing at Priest Rapids Dam. Those who knew him called him a caring and quiet man. Like many of us, Mike had his struggles in adulthood, but his family says he kept his pride and never stopped trying to live his life. In that process of trying to live his life on September 6, 2018, that life was stolen. It was around 2 a.m. in the morning. Michael was walking in the 700 block of West Chestnut Avenue. Now, if you know that area, you know that he was just a block away from Astria Regional Medical Center, also known, for those who've been here in Yakima for a long time, as St. Elizabeth. He was literally within sight of the emergency room doors. A vehicle described by witnesses as a red SUV pulled up near the corner of South 8th Avenue, and according to the police in Yakima, the vehicle stopped, and it appears the shooter actually got out of the SUV to fire. Multiple shots rang out. Michael was struck several times in the chest. When officers arrived, they found Michael lying near the curb. He still had a pulse, so they rushed him that single block to Astria Regional, but the damage was too great. At 2:52 a.m., Michael Frazier was pronounced dead. He had bled out from his wounds. The shock waves from those gunshots hit the neighborhood immediately. Local workers in the area told reporters they were terrified to come into work. They had never expected something like that in their neighborhood, and that's the most haunting part of this case. Yakima police spokesman Mike Bastinelli was very clear. Michael Frazier had no known gang ties. He wasn't a criminal. He was just a 52-year-old man walking down the street. When a non-gang murder happens like this, it scares a city. It feels random. It feels like anyone could have been that target. Now, it has been over 6 years since that red SUV sped away into the night. In 2021, the Yakima Police Department launched an interactive murder map to highlight cold cases exactly like Michael's. The goal is simple: transparency. They want the public to see the names and the locations, hoping that a dot on a map might spark a memory. Because, as police say, someone, somewhere knows something. Now, if you think back to that day in September 2018, do you know someone who drove a red SUV? Did you hear someone bragging about a shooting near Chestnut and 8th? Maybe you saw something that night, but were too afraid to speak up. You didn't know it mattered. Well, it matters. Michael's brothers, Jamie, Leon, and Dominic, deserve to know why his brother was taken. If you have any information, no matter how small you think it is, please take the time to reach out. You can call the Yakima Police Department at 509-575-6200, or if you choose to stay completely anonymous, you can call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-248-9980. Let's help bring some justice to the Frazier family. I want to thank you for listening to the D-Lo Show. Don't forget to check out the interactive murder map on the YPD website to see other cases that still need your help. Stay safe out there. Where I'd like to cite a few sources of where I got these from here, too, as well as I'm going through. I found some article from September 7th, 2018, from the Yakima Herald. It's man killed in shooting a block from hospital. 52-year-old struck multiple times in the chest in the early hours. It's just days after the event happened. And I also pulled an obituary for Michael D. Frazier. If I could take the time, I'd like to be able to read this for you. It says, Michael D. Frazier, September 14th to 1965, September 6th, 2018. On September 6th, 2018, Michael was taken from us unexpectedly in unexpected circumstances. That shocked all his family and friends. Michael was born in Yakima on September 14th, 1965, and he was raised in Washington State. He was the second of 4 brothers. Michael was raised on a farm in Moxie City for 6 years. It gave him and his siblings a chance to stay with family while his father continued to serve our country. He moved to Yakima and attended Davis High School. Mike was known around the valley as a caring and quiet man. He liked fishing and camping with his nephews, cousins, and family. He loved fishing at Priest Rapids Dam with his father and brothers. He enjoyed hanging out and celebrating with his friends and family. He struggled through his adulthood, but kept his pride and kept trying to live life. His support from friends and family helped and encouraged him. He is survived by his brothers, Jamie, Isabel Barron and Frazier, Leon K. Frazier, and Dominic with Leona Frazier. He was preceded in death by his sister Rita, his mother Koyoko Sato, and father Elmer Frazier. Visitation will be at Keith and Keith on Friday, September 14th from 4 to 8, and funeral service will be Saturday, September 15th, 2015 at Keith and Keith Funeral Home at 11 a.m. with a graveside service following at Tahoma Cemetery. Michael's name also appears on the Yakima Herald website from June 24th, 2021. This is just something that they put on there. Never forget. It says most of us have experienced a loss of a loved one. Typically, this happens from old age or sickness, and it hurts. Unfortunately, some families suffer loss at the hands of another in the form of murder. As a former homicide investigator, I have seen this firsthand, and in some cases, it was debilitating. There is no question that it changes lives forever. Because of this, and because murder is the ultimate crime, it is the police, obligation to doggedly investigate these cases until there are no further leads. And we do just that. The crime of murder has no statute of limitations. That means that unlike most crimes, you can charge someone with murder after 10 or 20 years. In fact, as long as the suspect is still alive, it doesn't matter how many years have passed. With technological advances in forensic science, we are seeing more and more of these cases each year. But to get these convictions, someone somewhere, typically a homicide investigator, has to keep trying to solve the case. It means that he or she is never forgot. It is an easy thing to say, but a hard thing to do. At the Yakima Police Department, we have a talented group of death investigators in Major Crimes Unit. Currently, the unit is staffed by Detective Kevin Kays, Detective Curtis Oha, Detective Matt Lee, and Detective Scott Greenwald. They and the detectives who came before them have an impressive 68% clearance rate. The national average is 61%. And in major cities, the clearance rates are well below 50%. For example, Chicago was at 44% pre-COVID. But we aim to clear every case, so we don't ever forget. However, cold cases are really hard to solve. If there is not new evidence, then typically new leads only come from witnesses who come forward with new information. There are many avenues to do this, one of the best being our partners at Crime Stoppers. But anything to prompt folks to come forward is worth exploring. I'm happy to announce that Detective Drew Shaw, a longtime homicide investigator, and now the department's police use of force investigator for internal affairs, has created an interactive map on our website with each murder over the past 10 years. We will be adding others soon. When a dot showing the location of a murder is clicked, there is a brief synopsis and also a form to provide tips. It is our sincere hope that this additional information and transparency will generate tips on cold cases. I firmly believe that someone, somewhere, knows something. And then there's a list of the murder victims and the locations of their deaths for the past 10 years. If you have information that will help solve any of these cases, please do the right thing and let us know so that we can bring these families justice. Once again, that is on the Yakima Police Department website. Just some things that are there that go along with each of these murders that I've been talking about over the last, several months now. So just some things to go there to check out as you are listening to this podcast and enjoying it. Maybe you know something. Maybe you want to contribute to these. Feel free to do so. Call the police. Call Crime Stoppers. You can go online and all those things. Just stay safe out there and help us solve these crimes.